Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Class 47 Peter YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be redoing the bridge that goes across the sea on the narrow gauge railway. Now, for the past several videos now, some of you may have noticed that the bridge across the sea, well, the bridge sides at least, have gone. Now, I first did the bridge sides back when I first did the 009 project. I think it was part 4 when I did it actually. Now, they weren't made out of cardboard, so they weren't brilliant. I mean, from a distance they looked alright, but it wasn't long before I think a bit of damp got in them. Then they were a bit lopsided, and so I decided that I'm going to redo the bridge that runs across the sea to make it look better. I mean, because those bridge sides up there, they're made out of cardboard, but they don't look too bad, although I am thinking about replacing those with something a bit better. But we'll see. I haven't decided on that 100% yet, but the bridge sides that ran across the bridge that goes across the sea, those bridge sides, they were a bit crude, if I'm honest. I've also had to get rid of the halt here as well as the steps, because I've had to move the track over a bit, so I have got to do some touching up to with the paint, as you can see, but that'll get sorted. And also, I am having to redo this area here a bit because I had problems with the track warping and then buckling a bit. I mean, I've still yet to add detail along here anyway. So I want to put some packing under this track. It will have to be reballasted, but that doesn't really matter. So, yeah, so we are going to be redoing the bridge. So I think when it's finished, it will look a lot better than what it did before. So the bridge sides we're going to be using for the bridge are these Pico truss girder bridge sides, which are in 00/HO scale. And I have got 3 packs of these here in total. That's 4 of them I've got, because this is a Blue Peter moment, but here's one we made earlier. I probably don't really need the 4th one, to be honest. I think I can get away with just 3, so it means I've got a 4th one there as a spare, but I might decide to give it away maybe in the future, or just keep it as a spare, or find use for it in the future. I don't know yet. And what we're going to use for the supports in the middle, like I've done there, is this, which is this plastic hard styrene girder strips, which are quite cheap. I've already had them cut into lengths, which my dad did for me, because I wasn't going to do that on camera, because I think you'd find that a bit boring if I did that on camera. So this is what I'm using for the supports. I only need to use 3 because the 3 are strong enough, and it's quite sturdy enough as it is with just the 3, so it doesn't really need any more. I won't be leaving them white, they will be painted. I'll hopefully try and paint them in the same colour, or a similar colour to that of the bridge sides, because the previous bridge I had them painted a silver colour, which didn't look as nice, to be honest. I mean, bridges in real life, they aren't really painted silver. They're painted in a colour like this, which I think does look better. So we're going to get one of these opened, and I'm going to assemble the next bridge side. So here are 2 of the girder bridge sides unboxed, and I must say that the detail on these is quite exceptional. You know, there really is some nice detail on this, especially with the rivet detail, as you can see. Not that you're ever going to notice that detail in the videos on the bridge sides, but you know, they're still nice. You know, and they are more detailed than the ones made out of cardboard, and also they do look much better and more to scale as well. So I have brought these into the garage so you can see them a bit better. So now I'm going to glue the supports in place, and then these will be glued together. Okay, so these girder strips have now been glued onto the bridge sides. They have just been temporarily blue tacked onto the empty box. That's just to basically so that while the glue dries on these posts, that they stay in place where they are and nice and straight. So it's just to prop them up basically. The glue I've used is this, which is Revel Contactor, which is the same stuff as polycement. So what I've got to do now is I'm going to get a knife and I'm going to gently cut down where the blue tack is to free the bridge section from the box, and then I'm going to glue the other two sides together. I've also done another one here as well. So these are now dry, so we're going to now fit on the other bridge sides. So the bridge sides have now been glued together on the supports. I left the glue to dry overnight, and so the glue is now dry. I have just placed them onto these boxes from these bridge sides whilst I paint the supports, which is what I'm going to be doing next. But I'm not going to show you painting the supports on camera, because what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show you a small running session of the narrow gauge locomotives running on the narrow gauge railway, which will be something a bit different for a change. So I'll leave you then with this running session whilst I paint the supports. So I hope you all enjoyed that little running session that you just saw. I do apologise for the sound of the rain in the background in some of the shots, but there wasn't much I could do about that. I know the running session wasn't anything big or perhaps anything spectacular, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. It's something a bit different to do. The amount of outtakes I had though was unbelievable. There are one or two teething troubles that I need to sort out. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video regardless. So the supports for the bridges have now been painted. The paint I have used is Humbrol Matte 79, which is, I would say, that is very identical, if not a close match, to the colour of the bridge sides. Especially in lighting like this, I mean, that is very close, that is. So the bridge sides are now done. And so I'm well happy with how those are looking. I know in real life there'd probably be a lot more supports on the top of the bridges there, but to be honest I don't really need to do that, because just having these three supports, it's a strong enough, so don't really need any more supports. So these have got to go onto the bridge now. Now before I do add those bridge sides onto the bridge, I want to talk about this area here, because I have now sorted that area out. I have put some packing under the tracks. I have put some thick card underneath the tracks to pack it. I wasn't going to use the foam strips that were there previously, because they were just as a test trial thing, because my worry would be putting the ballast on the glue and then it's swelling up. So I think plastic card, or even just card like this that I've used, is probably best for packing. I have also glued the track in place, so what I've got to do now is I've got to reballast the track soon. I'm probably not going to be going out to buy another tub of ballast just for the sake of doing this one, so I'm going to use the sort of ballast that I've used for the standard gauge railway, the main part of the layout. It's not the exact same ballast I've used as the track on here, but you know, I can get away with it, to be honest, and it's not worth buying another bit of ballast, another load of ballast I should say, just for this one area. It's just not worth it. There are some other details and bits I can add onto this area as well, but I'm not going to be doing that just yet. That'll be done at a later date. So I'm going to test this part of the track out, and so I brought out my Bachmann Baldwin number 778. And look at that. Okie doke. Bit of dirty track there, it would seem. But look at that. Very smooth. Now it's got up there now without me having to give it a shove with my finger. But yeah, that's perfect. Okay, it's stalled again. Excellent. So I shall get that section of track ballasted. So I'm well happy with that. And so the bridge sides have now been placed onto the bridge. Now they are not glued in place, they have just been slotted on top. So that means that way, if I need to access that area in the future, I can just simply lift off the bridge sides. But the narrow gauge bridge that goes across the sea is now finished. And just look at that. I mean, that looks miles better, 10 times better than the bridge sides that was on there before. I mean, just look at that. That just looks a lot more realistic now. And it doesn't matter wherever you look at it, no matter what angle or whereabout you stood, that bridge just looks simply stunning, I think. So, well happy with how that's turned out and how that's looking now. Looks 10 times better, as I've said, than the original bridge sides, because I mean, to be fairly honest, the bridge sides that was there previously, they weren't as good as these. Not as realistic, not even to scale, because they were quite too big really, to be honest, and just not all that nice to look at. I mean, stood from a fair distance away it looked alright, but then when you got closer to it, yeah, not as nice. But this looks 10 times better now. So I'm pleased to report that the bridge sides are now finished, and so the bridge is now complete. Right viewers, well, we have an update for you. We're having to make a modification to the bridge. As you can see by these 3 pieces of card that I've cut out, and they've just been painted, so I'm going to let the paint dry. And so I'm going to explain what's happening when we get back in the garage. Okay, so we're back in the garage where the layout is. Now, the change we've had to make to the bridge is that those pieces of card you saw earlier that were painted, they've actually gone underneath the track, which you can just about see. And there's a very good reason for that. That is because my Baldwin locomotives simply wouldn't fit under the bridges, because the chimneys kept catching on the supports in the middle of the bridges, which was quite annoying. So what we had to do was we had to get some flat card and simply place them underneath the tracks, because that has lifted the bridges up a bit, so the Baldwin locomotives clear the posts. So that is just one little change we've had to make, but it hasn't affected the appearance of the bridge in any way at all. So now that the bridge is complete, I'm going to run a special train across the bridge. This is the first train to cross the bridge in the condition that the bridge is in now, with the new bridge sides. And this train is quadruple headed by 4 of the narrow gauge locomotives, which the train is now just coming into shot. So you've got Peggy at the front, the little diesel, Baldwin 778 and Tallyclin at the back with the 5 coaches. Right viewers, there's nothing else left for me to say now, or to do in this video. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. So as ever, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to post a comment, and also don't forget to check out all my other videos on the channel, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.